what do you want to major in?
I'm thinking about mentoring or accounting, but I don't know enough about these industries to make a decision, even with the career guidance resources provided.
Can't you just go out there and experience it yourself?
I've tried, but it's just not working out. Work exposure on job-seeking websites are highly inaccessible for JC students, and the only other option I have is personal connections, which I don't have.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are Team Reimagining Education, and the conversation you just witnessed depicts the current reality for JC students. The situation is as such. 3 in 4 of these students are dissatisfied with current higher education and career guidance resources provided. Notably, this includes a lack of meaningful work exposure opportunities, which are vital in the exploration of future career options. This is where we come in. Our proposed platform offers structured work exposure opportunities to JC students, acting as the middleman between them and corporations. Through this, we aim to allow students to explore potential career directions, experience workplaces, and expand their 21st century skill portfolio.
But the idea of work exposure is so vague. What if I camp outside the Raffles place you will be building? Will I be exposing myself to their workplace?
Please don't do that. Rather, our team has conceived a 2-pronged approach to work exposure, namely internships and corporate case assignments. Now, I'm sure that the moment I say internships, all of you must be thinking, but there are so many platforms for internships. What makes you so special?
Our value add, one word, accessibility. Let's take a look at these axes. The y-axis links back to how JC students are unable to qualify for internships because most of them require diplomas or degrees, and sometimes even specialized skill sets like SQL programming language. Our internships, however, exclude academic requirements and involve generalized skill sets like social media or research, making them more accessible to JC students. The x-axis, on the other hand, stems from the rigid JC academic school term. Our internships will be held during the school holidays or the weekends, instead of the typical 3 to 6 month long internships on most job-seeking websites. To compensate for all the special concessions companies have to make when taking on JC interns, all our internships will be unpaid, making them greatly reducing the company's fiscal burdens.
What about our corporate case assignments then? These 2 weeks to 2 months long group projects will be centered around challenge statements issued by the participating company. Students will brainstorm and research around these challenge statements, and mentors will check in every 1 to 2 weeks. At the end of each stint, students will present their final product to the company. Here is a mock-up challenge statement for reference. Just take a second to browse through that. This may seem familiar to some of you out there, especially the SMU students. Indeed, it calls back to SMUX, except our solution will be accessible to all JC students regardless of school background. Oh, sorry. Unlike other consultation-based career guidance mentorships, our solution will also be experiential and self-directed, allowing for a more nuanced view of the industry and hence improving the students' decision-making process.
Now, let's get to the nitty-gritty details of our solution. We hope to begin our manual pilot program from January to June 2023, as our team will be busy with the A-levels for most of 2022. Website development will happen concurrently, and our platform will launch in August 2023. To date, we have completed market research to confirm 1, the severity of the problem, and 2, the subsequent desirability of our solution. For our pilot, we have secured preliminary considerations from 2 schools and 5 companies. All of this means that we are well on our way to hit our January 2023 KPIs listed here. And for our pilot, we hope that we will benefit at least 75% of students and leave at least 50% of companies with a satisfactory experience.
Lastly, and stick with us here, numbers. Ideally, our platform will collaborate with schools for its promotion to students so as to reduce marketing and publicity costs. However, in the worst case scenario, this is how our budget will be broken down instead. And this is why we need your help to fulfill this bold vision for a better tomorrow, one where JC students can gain valuable exposure that expands their horizons and changes their potential career directions. Thank you, and we'll be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation. You mentioned, rightly so, I think, in your dialogue that you have actually staged earlier, that actually, oh, I don't have personal networks. How do I then go about, thinking about the jobs that I'm looking for and so on, the opportunities that I want to look for, so on and so forth. So in this program that you are suggesting, how would that personal network component actually grow on both the mentor and the mentee? What is your strategy for that?
I think I can, maybe I can try to clarify your question.
Yes, sure.
So you are concerned whether how can we like grow the personal connection in terms of like the both the companies and the students. Am I
Between the
right?
mentor and the students, because you mentioned that the mentor would check in once every 1 or 2 weeks, and then how would there be any interventions before the actual check-ins or after, or what would the whole process be like?
Yeah, definitely. We understand that this is a very pertinent question. Before the onboarding of both the companies and the students, we would already have talked to the companies and the students about the expectations of our solution. And even during like the mentorships, we do understand that companies and also like the employees, they may not be they may not have the skills, or like they may not know what is necessary to facilitate the conversation. And hence we will also create guiding questions and goals that will be set according to the company's needs, where the mentors can follow if they need to. And students will also be aware of the goals, and hence they can discuss these goals together and also help to facilitate a better conversation between them that is productive.
If I could add on, I think that the reason why we brought up personal connections was because we think that oftentimes when we have a lack of official internship opportunities, one has to overly rely on personal connections that, say, one parents have with friends. But we think that we want to level the playing field in a sense where we want to eliminate the need for personal connections. So that is the reason why we brought up personal connections in our presentation. Of course, we do acknowledge that personal connections are useful, and it is a valuable asset for any student and company in the sense to have networking. So we just want to say that in the student's perspective, like how my teammate Jasmine have said, they will have, through these corporate case assignments, they have keep in touch with their mentors and all. Yeah. And for the companies, they also network in the sense where they can use, like in terms of, for example, the internships that we have mentioned, they can use the opportunities to let students experience the workplaces and use it as a way to recruit possible potential talent in the future.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Other judges?
As organizations, we welcome interns, but very often, if the intern comes only for about a week or two or even a month, it's too disruptive. It's not much. So given that this internship program is meant for the JC students during the school holidays, you probably have only like 4 weeks max. So how would you address the needs of companies who says that, no, that's too short a time for the internship?
So this is definitely something we've considered when we interviewed all these companies, because a lot of the feedback that came back was, oh, JC interns have such short, such little leisure time. How are they going to fulfill this internship minimum time requirement? So in reply to that, we actually came out with this alternative, which is our corporate case assignments, where the time commitment needed from students and companies is actually a lot lower. So as to say, the company invests a lot less than they would in the typical internship. So let's say internships, you have to train those interns, you have to bring them through the company processes, whereas for corporate case assignments, the company simply sends out a mentor that can be part of their corporate social responsibility program. And so to some extent, it is easier for companies to come on board and easier for students to come on board on the program, yeah.
In addition, we also interviewed some companies, and they have also mentioned that they would be open to try out like the 4+ weeks program that we suggested. And one idea that we were discussing with them is they could onboard the students even before the holidays, so that this would reduce the time needed for the students to prepare for the internship. And hence the student can fully focus on the internship during like their holiday time. Thank you. I hope that answered your question. Thank you.
All right, I think we have time for one last question from the judges.
Maybe I take this question. So the three of you are J1 students, is it?
We're all J2 students, so we're
J2
taking
students.
A-levels this year, yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to say like it's very commendable that you are looking for opportunities for yourselves and your batch mates and doing this even when you're trying to finish your school. I thought it was very commendable. Also, I was quite curious because I work with SMEs, especially from the manufacturing sector. So I was just wondering if you create opportunities in, like, for example, internships or corporate case assignments. I'm just thinking from the perspective of the companies I interact with, they are likely not able to come on board with a suitable job scope for interns. So actually, I was just curious, when you design this program, are you looking for a certain type of careers? Do you have in mind?
I think when we designed this program, one of our aims was actually to go for a wide range of internships, because we did a competitor analysis, and there were some competitors that had similar programs as us, but the thing is that their scope of internships offered or scope of work exposure opportunities offered was very narrow. So let's say only design and UI, UX, right? So we really wanted to focus on that. And then in that sense, we also, sorry, could you repeat your question?
Yeah, just asking whether you have a specific kind of careers in mind when you design this program.
And in addition to that, many students that we interviewed were also interested in startups and SMEs. And I think one of the possible internships that they can take up, which we also verified with companies, is more towards marketing and social media and research. Now, this may seem like a very tiny and niche field for students, but at the same time, they also gain a huge outlook on how the whole business works, as well as how they can apply their skills from schools into real life and into the company. For example, in JC, we learn statistics in math, and students can put that into data analysis for the market research of companies, and they will be able to apply their skills. And we do acknowledge that definitely there will be companies out there who do not have any particular internships that are available for students with generalized skill sets. But we also do know that there are companies out there who are willing to employ JC interns with generalized skill sets. Thank you for your question. We hope we have answered it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, with that, thank you so much, Reimagining Education. Thank you, judges, as well.
Thank
Round
you,
of applause for
thank you.
them.